All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to this newest episode of Minority Pod with my beautiful, greatest lawyer of all time, Mustafa Hawili.
Hello.
The amazing, wonderful guest, Israa Music,
Hey, guys.
a.k.a. Israa Darwish. And then myself, the other host, Khalil Bazi. Thank you guys for tuning in this week to this episode. We greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for taking time out of your day to click on Watch Our Ugly Faces with our amazing guests. So quick, before we go to the sponsors, any quick breakdowns you want to do?
Yeah, before we go into sponsorships, we got to talk about merch. We finally signed with a merchandise, I believe, delivery company. You can go online, you order.
Infinity Merch.
Infinity Merch. Shout out Infinity Merch. You can order your stuff, order your colors, your hoodies. They'll go ahead and they will deliver it straight to your house. If you want merchandise, the link is on our Instagram. You just go to our highlights. You'll find it there. You can go ahead and you can get yourself order some hoodies, some shirts, whatever you need.
Okay, and last thing before we get into the amazing guest, Israa Music, this week's episode is sponsored and brought to you by Enhanced Yard Care, guys. They're the best in the business, someone reliable that can take care of your lawn, take care of your weeds, do the mulch, trip off bushes, anything you need with the lawn service and snow removal, right? They're getting to it.
I think so, yeah.
Anything with that service that you're too lazy to do, go ahead and call Enhanced Yard Service. We know them personally. They take care of us. They'll take care of you. Make sure you mention that Mustafa and Khalil sent you, and they'll go ahead and hook you up, okay? And all the information will be linked in the bio. Go follow their, they post a lot of cool stuff on their Instagram, Enhanced Yard Care on their Instagram. Their contact information, everything will be down below. Mm-hmm. And don't forget to hit the like, and the logo will be right here. And the like, comment, subscribe, and we're done.
Yep.
All right. So let's get that out of the way. So for the people that are wondering who Israa Music, Israa Darwish is.
Well, before we even go into that, I'm not even going to bullshit you guys. Probably the third time we've had her on here. Okay? The first time we had her on here, there was an issue with formatting. The second time we had her on here, there was an issue with formatting. So I took the liberty of going out and buying. I literally bought 2 brand new memory cards, and I labeled them IM for Israa Music. They're literally yours, and I'm not doing anything else with them.
That's so funny.
And after my editor is done, I'm gonna have him keep them.
We're retiring that memory card.
I'm retiring the hell out of it. I don't know why your luck has been so bad.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like you recorded with us on Monday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I swear to God, I tried to look at the edits, and everything was deleted.
Oh,
it was like ridiculous.
We have a witness.
Yeah, we have a witness. So sometimes we record like multiple episodes in a week, so we can play catch up.
For sure.
And literally, the guests that we were recording this week saw your stuff literally get like vanished off the face of the planet.
Oh my God.
He was like, "Bro, if she gets upset, I will tell her in person what I just saw happen." He's like, "It was so bizarre." I was like, "I think her luck is just that shitty."
No, it's
but
chilling.
I mean, no, it's fine. We get to see you again for the third
stuff
time.
happens.
Why not? Yeah.
Good conversation, always.
Great conversations. Okay, so let's get into it. So the people that don't know who Israa Darwish, a.k.a. Israa Music, is and why we're bringing her on, go ahead and give us an intro.
All right. Hey, guys. My name is Israa. I make music. I've been making music since I was like about 14. Last year, I was actually on a TV show called Alter Ego. It was on Fox. That was really cool. And I'm an advocate for mental health.
Okay, so how is everything going with that? So you mentioned mental health. Last episode we dipped into it. So where does that ordinate? Like, people always talk about mental health, right? Mm-hmm. What's your biggest advice towards mental health?
I'd say don't be afraid to get help if you need it, because like I feel like there's a huge stigma in the community and in every community of mental health. So don't be afraid to like seek help if you feel like you're down, and for a while I was like, and I was scared to like set my pride aside and like get help. But once I did, my life got a lot better,
For somebody dealing with it, I mean, why is it you think people are scared to address it?
I think they're scared because they don't want to come across as weak. And I think it's like a big thing in the community where like you are viewed differently if you're struggling with your mental health, so. I
mean, why do you think it's like a sign of weakness kind of thing? I don't, here's the thing. So I'm not, I guess my opinion, and not that I don't want to say it won't matter. It's not, I don't find it strong because I haven't really, I don't even know if I have dealt with mental health issues. Sometimes you don't even know. Some people don't know they're going through something.
No, yeah, that's so true.
So me personally, like just based on like where I'm at, why is it you think people would view you as weak if you asked for help? I don't understand. I have trouble understanding that myself. That's just why I'm curious.
No, it's frustrating for sure because I feel like people who struggle with mental health, you're actually stronger because you're fighting something, But I think it's viewed like you become like looking weak just because you are struggling like with something that's internal. Like people can't see that you're sick or anything, so like they treat you differently because you know you lack motivation maybe, or like you know you can't get up on your feet like by yourself, like stuff like that. You know.
Do you think? Oh, go ahead, Kel. I'm sorry.
So I want to bring this on full circle. Every time I'm going to bring up right now. Okay, so let's bring up the elephant in the room, okay? Because I'm linking mental health with you wearing a scarf, embracing Islam, and then also singing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's bring it in. So how do you balance something like that? Obviously, that's what people are. That's like the double take. You know what I mean? Like, oh wow, she sings. Oh wow, she wears a scarf.
It is hard. Like I definitely get a lot of feedback from like, you know, community members and outside the community of just like, what are you doing? Like, why are you wearing a hijab and making music? Like, a lot of people don't understand it or respect it or anything, which, you know, I can understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, it's just kind of like music saved my life. God gave me music, so I use it, you know, to help me fight the fight every day.
What do you say to people that think you're not a real Muslim?
I'd say I usually, like, I stay civil, you know what I mean? Like, I respect, like,
I'm sure you've heard this.
No, yeah, for sure. I usually just say, like, everyone's relationship with God is personal, you know? So, like, just because traditionally you don't think that I, like, match the perfect Muslim, like, doesn't mean that I'm not, like, a good Muslim, you know?
I'm with you. I respect
like I always say, like, justify what you're doing. Because people are going to sit there and instantly throw away what you're trying to do, right? Because of what they do. Either... Yeah, I can imagine where mental health would take a hit with what you're going through, because I guarantee it's, you know, you say feedback. I can imagine like a backlash.
Yeah,
from every time you're trying to do something, and she's embracing Islam, but she's doing what Islam does not want you to do in a way, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I think you guys have heard it like twice now, but so I have bipolar disorder, and that's something I've struggled with for a little while. So you know, like, being able to put my mental health aside and not let comments like that get to me has been definitely a challenge, but I'm to the point where, like, now I can, like, laugh about it if somebody's like, oh, you're going to hell, you know, so.
Yeah, you probably heard it so much times that you're like, all right,
exactly, this is normal. It doesn't, like, affect me the same way.
So you said bipolar disorder.
Yeah, type 2 bipolar disorder.
Okay, what are the differences?
So there's type 1, which is, like, you have manic and depressive episodes. Okay. And then type 2 where you have hypomanic and depressive episodes. So it's just like a less severe version of mania, but then you still have the depressive.
This, mind you, like, this is all new to me. For the people that don't know what that means, mania, explain it.
It's like, you know, it's like people kind of glorify it now in social media and stuff, but it's like a level of euphoria that you feel invincible. You know, a lot of people like do stupid things and like risk their lives when they're like having a manic episode. Like I actually have a friend who, you know, dropped out of college when she had a manic episode, and like that was really hard, you know, and like it's just like it's a very serious thing that like I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, they're just in a good mood or they're just in a good place, but it's like way worse than that.
And was type 2 bipolar disorder, was that the only diagnosis you had?
No, so I actually was diagnosed with depression before. And then as I've gotten older, like I developed bipolar. So it's something that like you kind of develop as you get older. But yeah, depression has always been a struggle for me since I was young.
I've always wanted to talk to, not always, I always ask questions. I just never actually like looked up or anything. Like, how did you find out you had depression? Because some people always feel like, oh, I'm feeling sad, this is that, or like what exactly, go through the process of how you found out.
Honestly, like, so I like started therapy when I was, I think like 14. But that's because when I was 13, I like my everything just kind of went dark. You know, it was just like.
Was it random or like something triggered it?
I think that it was like a lot of triggers that I just never addressed because I was a kid, you know, and then like all of a sudden I was like having suicidal thoughts and like stuff like that. And like I think that's when I realized that like I needed help, you know, and like for a while I didn't seek it. And then one day I sat down with my mom and I was like, listen, this is not just like, you know, some like random struggle. This is like real, and like I need help. Otherwise, like I don't know what's gonna happen. So you know.
Thank God you didn't have. Actually, I don't know how your mom is, but like a lot of voters, they would have brushed it off. They were like, yeah, go back to school.
I think she saw like my mental health declining like rapidly, and so she was like, you know, get help.
Get help. Okay, it's good that she did that.
Yeah, because no, I get what you mean. Because it's so stigmatized that so many people are like, walk it off. Like, you just need to take better care of yourself. Like,
Well,
you
this
know?
generation, for one of the few things they've done right, is embrace and push mental health, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think they
mental health
caused
awareness.
it.
It's
Yeah.
definitely on the rise.
I think it's a trend now. Some people just say they're doing it or say they're going through.
Yeah.
Not you, but in general, like people like, oh, I deal with I do all this. Just to get attention to be a part of the trend.
Exactly, yeah, because it sets you apart. Everyone's like, oh, I'm neurodivergent now. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
all that stuff, and yeah, it's just like I think, and but the thing is, I always preach, social media causes all this thing to get worse. Causes I believe Instagram and that stuff causes depression to get worse. I think it causes anxiety to get worse. You're comparing yourself nonstop to people. You're constantly scrolling.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that social media worsens it, or do you think it can directly cause it?
That's a good question.
You know
I
what I'm
would
saying? Like, say
say-
you're just, a person that is not mentally ill. You think that social media exposure can possibly increase the risk of developing a mental illness? Do you think that
that's a good question.
or do you think that if you already have a mental illness and you're on social media, it makes it worse? Because it's
I think a little bit of both.
really.
I think a little bit of both.
Israa,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Think about
honestly, that's a good question. I feel like, everybody has some things that they struggle with, and then if you amplify them by like seeing, like, let's say you have body image issues, and then you see people posting on social media, and you compare yourself to them, you're bound to like end up spiraling, but at the same time, I don't think that like being on social media is going to like make you.
Hey, that's a
have
good point. Yeah,
depression.
you're sitting there and normal. You think everything's normal, and then you just invest your mind with all this garbage, and you're constantly keep comparing them, and then you're mentally keep killing. And that can also cause an issue like that.
Yeah.
It gets bad. But then I think back to you, and I'm like, okay, then I can see where music got involved, but
Right.
also I can see where it's. So did you always have the scarf on your whole life?
Yeah, since I was like in 3rd grade.
3rd grade?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty. So
Yeah. Put it on young.
you put it on young. Do you think that?
Actually, when I put my scarf on, my mom actually didn't want me to at first because she's like, you're so young to be making such a big decision.
Yeah, I want to ask about that because you're not the only one that said that. So, okay, I've had multiple women that I've spoken to.
Right.
They tell me that when they tell, I'm really curious on a woman's opinion right now, especially when it comes to this, because I have my own opinion. I'll share mine, but I really want to hear yours. This big thing with the scarf, okay? So a lot of people told me, I know a lot of women that decided to put on a scarf later in their life, not early as you. Like, I know women that put on their scarves when they were in their 20s, maybe their mid-20s, maybe when they graduated high school and so forth. Mm-hmm. And they told me, instead of their friends, even their family, promoting it, telling them, oh, this is a good thing, we're proud of you, you're taking such a good commitment, it was the opposite. They're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're so young. Why are you committing yourself to something so restrictive? Are you stupid? Like, go live your life.
My mom was like supportive for sure, but it was more of like, just like be aware that like this isn't, just like a small decision. It's not like for today. It's like, if you decide to put on your hijab and like commit to it, like you said, it's a commitment, it's like every day, like you wake up, you put your hijab on before you leave the house. And like, it's way more than that because it, it teaches you discipline. It gets you closer to your faith. So I think like, obviously my mom was like proud, but I think that's why she was a little like, you are young, so just be careful making a big decision like that.
What do you think of the people that don't, that caution people to put it on? Like, tell them, like, oh, what are you doing? What's wrong with your life? All this stuff. Like, what do you really, like, how are you doing this to yourself? You're going to ruin your life, shit like that. Like, people really actually say this stuff.
And, like, I have, like, a lot of comments that I get, like, about, take off your hijab if you want to make it in music. Because, like, I get that from, like, people who are Muslim and don't like that I make music because they don't want me representing them. And then I get it from people in the music community who, like, just, are like, oh, well, you look too different to make it in music and stuff like that.
Well, being on social media, have you ever seen, okay, we talked about this last time, but I swear to God, you're right, Kel. It's a good thing I just remembered this. So him and I, we did a Q&A, and one of the major topics that we talked about was this specific topic.
It's a flawless topic.
It's awesome.
It's an awesome topic.
It's an awesome topic, and like this is gonna be one that I think would spark a great conversation right now. You being on social media a lot, have you ever seen some women that post videos of like it's them like like the analogy would be like coming out of the closet, it's them taking off their scarf and they make like a fucking Spielberg movie out of it?
I've never seen that.
You've
no.
never
Like
seen
a
that?
girl will take off their scarf in the comments and be like, "Oh my God, you're free."
Yeah.
Flawless.
Oh my God.
No, hear me out. I swear to God. I'm sure you'll find these on Instagram. They're in our community too.
I know
I'm-
3 girls. I can screenshot.
Just listen. So what like I don't remember who they were, but I just remember like videos circulating like a few years ago. Me seeing this, I was like laughing my ass off. And so what they're doing is it's like them recording themselves, right? It's like they make it like I shit you not, like the video is edited. And like there's like lights, and it's supposed to be like some sort of a premiere, and it's
Like
a girl
a rebirth.
like yeah, right, exactly, literally like a rebirth, and a girl just rips her scarf off, and then like there's a background song playing. It's like, "This is my fight song,
Oh,
take
no.
back my life."
Not the fight song.
Yeah, and it's like, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And like it's a girl just ripping off her scarf, and all these comments are in support of it. Oh my God, you go girl, you are my spirit animal. All this shit. I'm like,
Listen,
and here's the part that kills me. It's okay, listen, it's your life,
Right.
none of my business. But I swear to God, I dare one person to write the comment saying like, why'd you do that? Or like someone that's not supportive of it.
Right.
I swear to God, they get canceled like this. And I hate that.
It's
So
a
I'm curious on
hard-
what your opinion on it is.
Honestly, like I just keep to myself and that kind of thing.
I know, but as a woman that wears a scarf, what's your opinion on somebody that just takes it off like that publicly and makes like a scene out of it, as if like they're being freed?
I think it's one thing to take off your scarf, and it's another thing to be like, so I don't know, make a scene.
No, I want you to be as honest as you
no,
can.
I
Yeah,
am being
yeah.
honest, like
Yeah.
because like I don't have like I'm not like, oh my God, like how dare she, but like at
Yeah.
the same time, like to make a huge scene out of it and like to act like it's like some kind of like oppression, is like really bad, especially for people who are outside of the community who don't understand the hijab. Makes it look even worse because they're looking at us and they're like, oh, they're oppressed, so
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually never thought
Yeah.
about that. I never thought about
what
that.
the
That people outside of Dearborn that don't understand the hijab will look at it as, oh, this woman was probably oppressed her whole life. She finally got the chance to take it off.
Yeah.
X? Yeah.
I never thought
Well,
about
some
that.
you
It's a
gotta
phenomenal
okay. So
point.
let me try to play devil's advocate here. So there are some women that get get forced to put on. Okay,
Yeah.
forced.
No, I'm with you.
They live. Their dad is strict as hell. Like it just went down the wrong path. Let's say an abusive file, whatever. And then she took it off, and she feels and like, and she does that. I can see where those videos are coming from, but like,
Yeah.
don't I don't know. It's their life. You know what I mean? Like I know girls that take off their scarves. They're amazing girls. Nothing wrong with them. You know what I mean? It's just their
I'm not.
choice.
No.
Yeah.
Again, here's the thing.
I
I don't.
agree
I
with
don't. I don't want people to get confused. I'm not trying to say if you take off your scarf, you're deemed to hell. You're a bad person. I'm saying is why is the glorification of it?
Oh, it's just that.
That is my
Girls-
curiosity.
I
Because
always say,
here-
girls
here-
will gas each other up all the time.
No, it's not that, man. It's like, okay, here's how I look at it. When I see these videos, even though these people who are doing this act don't feel this way, even though they don't feel those way, they're making it seem like they were oppressed.
Yeah.
And it seem like their life was controlled by somebody.
I heard a story. Some girl put on her scarf for about a year. Her family was given so much shit to take it off, and she ended up taking it off.
Because of pressure from the family.
Now the mom's like, "What are you doing? Take
Really?
it off." Yeah, swear to God.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm not
"Damn."
surprised though. I mean, you see, but you also see vice versa. You also see somebody that never wanted it and their family forced
Yeah,
them to
no,
put it
yeah,
on.
and I always
know?
tell people like, scarf doesn't mean, and to me, like, you're not
It
a
doesn't
great
make
person.
you a
Yeah,
better
it doesn't.
Muslim,
It
I mean,
doesn't.
it does. It makes you like
It makes you more
shows your-
conservative,
It
yeah.
shows your your faith, because like I said, it like teaches you discipline and stuff. But at the same time, if there's a woman who took off her hijab and she prays 5 times a day and she's like dedicated to the faith, that doesn't mean that I'm like more religious than her. Just
100%.
because, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. I couldn't
yeah,
agree more.
It's always like I've met greater girls and more like moral path, everything.
Yeah,
a
no,
girl without
I-
a scarf and then
Yeah,
compared to
no,
a girl with a scarf.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not comparing it as somebody that wears a scarf, somebody that doesn't wear a scarf.
Yeah.
I'm just comparing it to the. I'm not. It's not even a comparison. It's someone that just had a scarf on, right? And by them taking it, mind you, so this is another thing. I like we said before. I do a lot of divorce law. And there was a lot of clients that I've represented that told me the first thing my husband made me do was put on a scarf. I put it on for him. I didn't put it on for me. I didn't put it on for
See,
my
I
faith.
feel like
That's a
I
sloth
put it on.
fest.
Yeah.
It is, but it happens more than you think. More than you
I
think.
believe
And it
it,
happens.
yeah.
And once they get divorced, what happens? Scarf comes off. And then, you know what I'm saying?
And it sucks that like the society will make you feel bad for it too,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you were
Dearborn
forced to
will.
put it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
because they don't know the backstory. They don't know the
Exactly.
backstory.
Like I always say, don't be judgmental. Be curious. Wonder why.
You know,
Do
listen,
a deeper dive and what
I
happens.
love that
behind it.
mindset.
Yeah,
Like,
there
just
is
to be curious.
so like again, I don't you know me, like I don't promote this to be a religious podcast. This is one of the few times you'll hear me say something.
topic,
like,
though.
it is a good
Right.
topic, but like so there's something there's a saying. It's not like in the Quran, but I know it's a formal saying that they say about people that go to Hajj.
Harajli, mention it in the comments. He's gonna
Yeah,
correct you.
Haraj will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain him and I talked about this, and it's true. They say like the tale goes when you make the pilgrimage to Hajj and you come back as the person you were supposed to be, okay? The person you're supposed to be. So if somebody, la samhala, comes back from Hajj and they all of a sudden they turn to like, let's say like Brad Mahon, they turn into like a scumbag. They say, well, your journey to Hajj, they revealed that character of you when you got back. You understand what I'm saying?
So
and if they become exactly, so when you become a better person, you come back. This is obviously the result of Hajj. So a lot of people, when they go to Hajj and they come back, they go to Hajj for the sake of. I'm sure you've heard this in Dearborn. People
yourself of your sins.
Exactly. I'm going there just to get rid of my sins. Like it's a lot of people say it as a joke. It's a horrible joke. But a lot of people say, yeah, well, I'm doing all this. Essentially, I'm gonna go to Hajj. All my sins are gonna be erased. That's obviously like the story. And then when they come back, all of a sudden they're going into like a boatload of problems because the intention of them going wasn't for them. It was a different purpose. The purpose it wasn't pure.
Same ideology with the scarf.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same idea. So when you're doing it for somebody else, I'm not surprised it came off if your husband forced you to put it on.
Exactly.
Why am I? I'm not. In fact, I can probably justify it. Honestly.
No, yeah. So I said this on the Q&A.
Yeah.
If anyone is willing to do, I really want someone
Who took it off?
took it off to come explain what happened. I want to know the thought process behind it, what before, after. You know what I mean? Pretty cool conversation.
No, it would be.
And it's like we're not judgmental at all.
No,
this
I
is
know,
the conversation. Yeah.
For sure.
Judge me if you, we're not that bad.
No, we're not. No, I don't think we're bad at all. It's just we just have our opinions. People don't. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've gotten in arguments with people on this table before.
Yeah.
So the difference of opinion. It's a very good thing. You don't want to agree with everybody.
Yeah. No, that's true.
No, on the scar. So I have a
and
question.
like that's the thing is like, especially if you have like an open mindset.
Yeah.
And you're willing to have a conversation. That's like what makes it.
No, 100%. I couldn't agree more.
No, yeah, you get voters that instantly shut the conversation down when they hear something they
Yeah.
don't want to hear, and then it goes to where, and then
Like I consider myself pretty like political, but I'm super liberal, and like the thing is there are people who are like super conservative but also really close-minded, and there are also people honestly who are liberal and really close-minded, and they're not willing to have a conversation to like understand somebody else's perspective. That's like what makes, that's what I feel like. It's just not it, like being willing to have a conversation is like the main point of like.
No, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta be willing to understand people's point of views.
Right.
And like the whole political scheme is just a mess. You'll never get a decent conversation in.
It's tough.
Because when people say liberal, like they say liberals and Islam does not go together.
Because Islam is supposed to be quote unquote considered a very conservative religion. That's
So,
why,
like
that's what it's quote unquote considered.
So the phrase like not all racists. No, what is it? What's the phrase? Not all racists are Republicans, but all Republicans are racist. That phrase.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one.
I've never heard that actually.
Oh yeah, so they say it for everything. So not all like most like exactly. So yeah, like not all racists are Republicans, but all Republicans are racist. That type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And you go to like the liberal side. The liberal side is just at war with everyone towards religion or anything like that. I can see them butting heads like crazy.
It's funny. You being super liberal, I'm really curious to ask you this question. I knew you were liberal before.
Usually, I wouldn't have brought up politics.
No, it's not politics.
Like,
Just because you told me that, I'm curious.
Yeah.
So have you? And I'm only asking this because this has become something recent that it came to my attention.
Right.
Did you see those stories about the books in schools that they want to ban? The
No,
ones
I
that
didn't.
Etzel Ford, they're like supposed to be like, what were they called? It was
really
a book
didn't
called.
hear about it?
Oh, did
You didn't hear about the book?
Post it?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I
it was
think
like
I
it was
saw
a
it.
book like I don't know the details. It's supposed to be like an LGBT promoting book.
Right.
I forgot the title of it, but it's supposed to like.
Oh, there's like 3 of them. There was
Yeah.
one that said like they were teaching kids how to have sex male to male. It was one of them, and then the other one was like growing. I don't know. There's a bunch of LGBTQ books in the libraries of kids like that, and then one person checked it out.
Yeah.
And the parent flipped out, and then the teacher or principal, I don't know.
It was like someone at Etzel Ford.
I think one of the teachers or principal.
They made a video, and then like the parents came out, and there was like a huge outcry against it.
She didn't rage. She didn't snap because of the LGBTQ. She snapped because it was sexualized in the book.
I know that. Just to get that straight, it wasn't LGBTQ related. It was the details in the book being exposed to the children.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, I would ask, is there a book like that for like,
No.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then that's
Wait, is there
like
a
where
book
I
like
draw
that
a line.
for what?
Like for a man and a woman. That's
in
where
don't
a
believe so.
school.
Like if they're
Hell no.
yeah, like
There's no way.
I'm like I'm a supporter of the LGBTQ plus community, but I like, you know, if there isn't that kind of exposure for like, you know, cis relationships, that doesn't mean that there should be for, you know, same-sex relationships.
I know, but like, okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, there was, okay? What do you, I mean, how do you feel about that exposure to like the younger children? Because, I mean, this is, at the end of the day, you know how it is. So public schools are a federal curriculum.
Right.
Okay? So you don't get to decide what you're going to teach. The federal government tells you what you're going to teach.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not a question of what you're going to teach. It's a question of when you're going to teach it.
Right.
You know, whether you like it or not, you know, whether you support it or you don't support it, the law is clear on it. These are a group of people that have rights in this country, and you're either going to approve it, or you're going to take your kids, put them in public, or I'm sorry, in private schools. That's how it is.
Right.
So being,
I just wanted to finish. So my issue, I'm going to be real with you. My issue is both the actual books, whether it's same sex or opposite sex. I just don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, no, especially
at any level. But like, it scares me even more when. So at the end of the day, I talk to my friends about it all the time.
Right.
There is no even if you're the person that is like anti-LGBTQ, you don't want your kids around gays, you don't want to deal with any of the shit, you don't like them, you don't think they should have rights, the whole nine. In this country, there is no way of preventing the exposure.
Right.
There's just no way. So either you're gonna adapt, or you're gonna put them in private schools, you're gonna homeschool them, whatever it is you gotta do. Okay. But the question is, when do we draw the line of exposure? You know what I mean? Like, when are you like, you know, somebody who's very liberal? When do you think that, if at all, it should be exposed? Do you think it should be exposed at the elementary, middle school level?
All together, like for straight couples
in
and
general,
everything.
Yeah.
I think that's a little young.
I think so too.
You know, but yeah, I don't know.
what I mean?
So it goes back to how, like, would you want your kids, example, learning about that type of stuff as example under the household of a Muslim? In general, you wouldn't want it regardless.
Yeah, no, me personally, no, but some people are going to be more open. But I have my opinion. Like, me personally, no, I don't want my kids exposed to it. But that's just me as a father. You know what I'm saying? But everyone's going to have their own opinions. But then again, you know, ask yourself the question, is there any such thing as preventative exposure? There really isn't, you know? So, I mean, something's got to give. That's how I look at it. Think about it. It's a mess, but, like, it's got to get figured out. You know?
There's people trying to stop it. There's everything, bro. Like, I don't know. My opinion on it is, like, I think it's too late. Like, it's getting pushed so hard right now that, like, there's no force that you can try to stop it.
You know, there are, like, so many people, though, that are closeted in our community, too.
I think they're, no, 100%.
Like, and they're just, like, scared.
You mean people that, like, are scared to come out?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think so.
Like, so
I think so.
So I get, like, you know, when they're older, too, like, I get, you know, educating them. But at the same time, like, I don't know, I think it's just a messy situation.
No, example, and like it goes back to you, like a liberal Muslim example, like how do you try to balance that?
Honestly, the way that I think about it is like, whenever people judge me, you know, the first response that I give them is like, who are you to judge? You know?
Right.
And so, like, who am I to judge somebody's, like, I don't know, them altogether if I don't know them? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who they are as a person. I don't know what they're like. I don't know their beliefs. So I can't judge them just because they like the same sex. You know what I mean? So, like, that's just how I think about it.
Right,
I'm like, I wouldn't want to be judged for making music and wearing a hijab.
100%.
So why would I judge somebody?
No, I agree with you completely.
So
yeah,
that's kind of where I am.
No, and I understand that. But I think the main question, it's not about judging. It's more about acceptance.
Right.
It's just some people, especially, like, I'm going to just keep it real. The majority of, actually, no, I don't want to say that. That's being very stereotypical. There's a lot of Muslims that I know that are very anti-LGBTQ.
Yeah,
and especially in Dearborn.
sure.
I mean, there's a huge outcry for it.
Yeah.
For anti-LGBTQ. It's just, I can see why it's an issue in Dearborn. A huge issue, because obviously, you know, a lot of people that are of faith, they believe this is haram.
Right.
You know, and I mean, according to the Quran, it is haram. This is the reality of it.
Yeah.
You know, but then it comes down to, okay, but, you know, your work, your school, anywhere in society, you know, if you're gonna express, you know, your religious thoughts, these can get you fired, they can get you in trouble.
Right.
That's where the problems are, you know? And it's very hard to integrate both.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I see the struggle.
It's just like, I don't know, like you said, it's hard to, because like modern day society is, you know, the way it is, and like, you know, it's open and everybody's constantly changing. And it's constantly changing. Society's constantly changing. And then
I agree.
You know, so I do get that challenge of like the Quran is
tough.
like very traditional. So it's,
right. It's very hard. It's not even an issue of adaptation. It's an issue of like people don't want it to be normalized.
They don't want to compromise their beliefs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Literally hammer on the nail. No, but it's very, very interesting. Like I honestly, I'm very curious because you make a good point. There are a lot of people that are closeted in this community.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, without naming anybody, do you know anybody that is?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you know why they're feared to come out?
Their parents would disown them, like stuff like that. Like it just, or like being bullied and stuff like that. So.
There's so much to it.
Especially because like some of the people I know are in high school, so it's like, especially if you're going to like Fortin or Dearborn High or something like, and you're surrounded by a lot of Arab, like you said, who a lot of them like don't support the LGBTQ community. So
I don't know if a lot of them do. I just know there's I just know there's obviously there's a group of supporters, there's a group of non-supporters. Right. Yeah. It's a tough topic. It's a hard topic. It's very hard.
Yeah.
Listen, anytime you're mixing religion with like the law of the land, which is law of the land, I don't mean like a religious law of the land. I mean like a constitutional law, as if like how the laws are run in a country. Whenever you mesh the two, it's tough, man. It's tough because there's no real winner. It's just bloodshed. This is how it is. And bloodshed in terms of like not the physical sense, in terms of like the mental sense. It's like it's always going to be fighting. I don't see common ground on this kind of a topic.
No, and there's going to be people that are going create like activists on both sides.
No, it's a very like I said.
That's why I said having an open mindset is like so important because it just prevents so many arguments.
What do you feel? What do you feel about like someone like I don't like example like me? I don't agree with it, but I'll never go out and make someone like I'll never go out and just start going crazy on someone for doing what they do.
Then I think that you're a good person for that.
No, because all right, I'm a man of faith, right? I'm not gonna sacrifice my belief, for what I believe and what I follow and what crafts me as a person I am right now.
Yeah, like you're not an advocate, but you're also not somebody that judges.
I don't agree with the act. I will never, you know what I mean? But I'll never go out there and just start bashing people. Go on my way to stop it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
no,
that's how I feel.
No, I'm with you. I feel the same way. I'm with you. It's but it's like I said, a topic like this. Not a topic. This is honestly is an issue. Not an issue in terms of like what's going on. An issue in terms of like the conflict. You know what I mean? This is not something I don't believe you'll ever find common ground on. It's always going to be divided. You'll never find a middle point here. Never.
The thing is, in Dearborn, I don't think it'll ever.
No, not in Dearborn. I think in the country, there's not going to be a mid
country. Yeah, but the thing is, like, okay, so example, like my favorite company of all time. People are not going to agree with it. Disney.
Okay.
They're pushing it down people's throats, right?
What do you mean? Like in terms of like LGBT advocacy?
Everything, right?
Are they
like
pushing
advocacy?
it, or are they just existing?
No, they're pushing it. No, I have like I hit you with like movie facts right now and everything. If you want to argue that,
I'm not saying I'm going to argue. I'm just saying, are they pushing it or are they just normalizing it?
No, they're forcing it. Bro, to get into the Oscars, you need a minimum of 20 to 30% of your cast members a part of this LGBT.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off for a minute, Kel. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you a question. You said, are they pushing it or are they normalizing it?
Right.
So, what would be the difference?
Pushing it would be like forcing it down someone's throat, like you said, and like basically like, I don't know, I feel like when you're pushing something, you're like, you have to believe what I believe. But like normalizing it is like, okay, this is going to exist next to you.
So normalizing it and pushing it in movie and cinema, okay, is two different. So I understand what you're talking about. Normalizing it is having a gay couple in the background. That's normalizing it, right?
Or as main characters.
Okay, that, right? But, or when the camera angle literally zooms in and purposely shows you this, and it brings no highlight to the story and nothing. That's forcing it.
I disagree.
No, that's forcing it. The reason why I agree with that is because if it brought no no point of the story and they're forcing it down your throats, that's how I feel. But when it's in the background, normalize it. I can name you 3 Pixar movies right now where it's in the gay people in the background. Mm-hmm. You don't notice it. That's normalizing it. That's making you look like it's normal. They're not emphasizing it. They're showing you that a normal world's going on. Something like that happens.
I understand your perspective.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But at the same time, like, if there's a straight couple and they're main characters, then why shouldn't there be a gay couple and their main characters, But
then you goes back. Okay, so my whole point of it was, that's a good point. I'll argue that. I won't argue it. It's a whole different discussion. The reason why I brought it up is because you don't need... Disney doesn't need you. You don't need... It's like going on someone's like business and complaining about how you're running your business. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if people are complaining about Disney, your kid doesn't have to watch Disney.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, you're mad at social media. You don't have to be on social media. I always complain. I always tell Hawili I'm on social media too much. I believe I do, right? I'm not blaming Instagram.
Right, and that's
I'm blaming myself.
And this is another thing, right? And that's why I don't blame schools. This is the federal government that forces a curriculum
Right.
that tells schools, and under the law.
I don't agree with that, though.
Let me tell you
you're
what.
forced to go to school.
No, you're not. You have the option to go to public school or private
you
school
can't
or
afford
homeschool.
public school,
You
private
can-
school, cuz.
Let me tell you something. Public school is considered a privilege. It is. It's the truth. It's considered a privilege.
Public school is.
It's a privilege.
Yeah, it is.
It's
In a way, yeah.
It's a privilege.
Yeah.
It's your tax dollars going. You don't have to send your kids to public schools.
You can homeschool. But the thing is, like, bro, okay, let's say example, like example, our parents. Do you think if
Yeah.
we told them private schools, they would cuff us across the street?
I promise you.
They're dropping 15,000 a student.
Listen, my parents are extremely conservative, as if the majority of Muslim parents.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna be very blunt with you. Okay, you say whatever you want is wrong with my parents. They were raised a certain way. You can't change it. It is what it is. If my parents, if I was in 4th grade in this day and age, okay, my dad would work 8 jobs to throw me in a private school just so I don't have to be exposed. So I'm telling you, that's how my father thinks. He would do it. Whether you agree with it or doesn't agree with it, this is how he is. This is how he is. I can't control. I'm in fucking 4th grade. What am I gonna tell the guy? No,
That's true.
this is how it is. This is the truth. They will, bro. Arabic parents will find a way. They will find a way.
They'll somehow scam the system to get you in.
They will find a way. They will find a way. Again,
That's funny.
This is something that I say all the time. Okay, these are for people that say, "Oh, I don't want my kids exposed to it." Well, okay, with all due respect, take your religion and put them in a public school. I'm sorry, put them in a private school.
Islamic school, yeah.
Yeah, put them in a private school.
Right.
Again, you know what the curriculum is. You know what it's gonna teach, and you know the federal government and what they support. No shit, your kids are gonna be exposed. What the fuck do you think? If you're not a fan of it, bro. This is another thing, Dearborn, for the parents that have been watching this. Okay, people think by going to the school board and raging, they're gonna just stop. Transgender bathrooms, all this
It did
stuff.
stop the books.
It stopped the books, but you do understand that public schools, they have a boss, and that boss has a boss. The federal government is what funds these schools. These are state grants.
Right.
Okay, Dearborn Public Schools, Dearborn Heights Public Schools, they can't just call the government and say, "Hey, listen, I know this curriculum says I have to teach same-sex marriage. Well, I don't want to do it." They're gonna say, "Okay, take a hike. We're gonna get somebody that is gonna do it." And you can't say anything about it.
Agenda,
It's an agenda. You cannot stop it. Or we're gonna stop funding your school. Go, close down. Fuck you. They don't care. It's how it is. If the agenda is exactly that, the agenda is that. For example, in the South, the big thing. Have you heard of critical race theory?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously, in the South where it's far more conservative, they have an issue with that. Mm-hmm. They have an issue with having the people teach it in schools, and there's some pushback against it. However, what's preventing teachers from teaching it or not teaching it? Some teachers are getting fired and they're suing the school because it's not illegal to teach that kind of thing. The school board itself is trying to push curriculum that will not allow it because of their conservative values, but the
Right.
federal government agenda allows for such teachings. You see the problem?
Why
Yeah.
don't they just teach, like, history, math?
Well, because
They do teach history and math.
Yeah.
No, I'm
But-
saying,
but
like, it's
again-
getting so wild at this point.
Yeah,
just
but
go to school and learn and get in trouble and go home.
Yeah, but then again, do you know how many? Believe it or not, back in the day, a lot of people had an issue. So I'm a huge.
There's always a
history buff.
problem, by the way. There's always a problem.
I'm a
with anything.
huge.
Oh, for sure.
I'm a huge history geek. Honestly, if I can go back in time, I would have probably double majored in U.S. history. Do you know how many parents have an issue with teaching U.S. history? Just because a lot of it is taught wrong and they say it's all made up, it's like manipulated.
I can see where that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where that's
a lot of
at.
people say it's like a lot of people are advocates against it. Like, oh, you're teaching my kids that Christopher Columbus was this good guy. Well,
He was actually a scumbag.
exactly.
He was like a piece of shit. Like, he raped, he killed,
Yeah,
he did
yeah,
everything.
yeah. This guy was like a slave owner. This guy's this guy's
And they have a
supposed
Christopher Columbus Day in today's age.
Yeah.
Out of
Yeah.
all the cancel culture, cancel Christopher Columbus Columbus Day. What do we still have that for?
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like these are people raging. Like, bro, how dare you have me promote a man that literally owned slaves and
They have a
raped?
song after him, everything.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
literally.
Like this person would show up to Indian tribes with colonists.
Massacre.
Yeah, they would literally rape Native American women and then slaughter the village and take everything and leave. Like that's what they did. And these are the people that we were taught in elementary school to worship. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
This is the truth. This is the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like this is just like that. It's just a different topic.
There's always I forgot who brought it. It was Miss Hassan or Kanye. Like, people are always having issues with whatever era they're in.
Yeah.
Remember, like, oh, social media is taking over. Back in the day, it was video games. Before that, they're reading too much. It's just always a problem. And they're always going to complain about it. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
And we're back. Talking about Disney, and people are starting to not like Disney anymore because of their agenda.
Well, what do you think Disney's agenda is?
Basically, what she was saying earlier is normalize the LGBTQ and stuff like that, right? And obviously, there's gonna be people that don't like it, and there's people that love it. But what I was going back to is I went to this lady's house about 2 years ago. I worked on her. I was working on her equipment, and she had a beautiful. This is so off topic. She had a beautiful like VHS collection
Of Disney stuff?
of everything, everything, and like everything. And I thought I was like, man, that's amazing, right? Not really. People don't give a shit about VHSs. I do. I collect a lot of vintage stuff, and I'm a
Kind of dorky.
It is very like even look behind me, like I'm just a collectible guy. So then 2 years ago, I told her, hey, if you ever want to sell these, give me a call. I show up 2 years later. This is like a month ago, and she's like, Khalil. I'm like, what? She put a sticky note on them. She's like, call whenever she wrote my information. She's like, I've been meaning to call you. I get there. I'm staring at a Return of the Jedi, Star Wars, in its VHS form, in perfect format. That thing's worth like $3,000.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Okay, I looking at it, I'm like, there's no way. And she's like, take everything I have. I'm like, I swear to God. You know what the funny thing is? She's nothing wrong, and she was very wealthy. I was telling you about her husband, and she's very nice. So she gave me all her like big collection. I was obsessed. I was happy. Obviously, a lot of people don't give a shit about VHSs. I collect them. I think it's very cool. Like it's like a trailer in your hands, right?
Have you
That's not even the good part.
Oh,
I'm
what's
about
the
to
good
finish. So I'm about to walk out, and I'm walking out, and I see the huge shelf of out of the vault Disney collection. I don't think people know what out of the vault means. When they released the movie in Disney in the 90s or whatever, to buy it on VHS, they would come out once every 5 years, 2, 3 years, whatever it is, and they release one movie for a certain amount of time. Example, Lion King. Out to the public, it released out of the vault for a certain amount of time, and then locked the vault back up, and you can vault back up, and you cannot buy it anymore. So it's limited access. So if you had the whole collection, it's pretty valuable, right? She had everything.
She had it all?
All.
Wow.
I looked at her
Pretty
like, this
epic.
is amazing. And she's like, take them all. I'm like,
What?
I swear to God.
You hit the lotto.
I hit the lotto. I'm like, are you sure you want it? She's like, take it all. I don't want it. I've been meaning to give this to my kids. They don't want it because they think it's very violent. I'm like, I'm not even going to argue that. And then she's like, go ahead, take everything. I'm happy that I'm giving it to someone that's going to appreciate it, which I do. I appreciate the hell out of them. I'm obsessed with like that vintage, especially the out of the vault collection. It's very, very expensive, by the way. Very.
What did they go for?
So on auction, Beauty and the Beast that I have in good conditions was $15,000.
Oof.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they're expensive. Like you can look it up. Put VHS out of the vault.
Why don't you
collection.
sell them?
Never.
You want to sit on them?
I will never sell them. That's the type of person I am.
They
Like,
just are gonna gain value even more.
I don't even care about the money. It's just like me knowing I have that collection in Disney. It's badass to me.
That's pretty cool.
I'm like, my goal is like whenever I have floating shelves in my basement with all of them.
You really like Disney.
Obsessed. It's from my mom. My mom did it when she was a kid. And
Yeah.
I am who my mom.
That's true.
Everything she pushed on me. It's me and my family. We're all like just like into
Yeah.
Disney, Pixar, that whole thing.
I love Disney. You know me. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's why I agree. I can actually like tell you about Disney stuff, and you'll be like, "Oh, it's cool." Other people, they'll be like,
This guy's a clown.
"Grow up."
Yeah.
It's just a thing for
I'm
me.
telling you, I'm looking for a nice Thomas Kincaid to put in my office. I cannot find one yet. Like a good, like one that I really want. I'm telling you, I'm going at the end of the month. You know this. You know I'm going to Disney World. At the end of the month. I go to Disney like every year.
How fun.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I'm going at the end of the month. When I go to that store, I'm telling you, I'm gonna find a nice Thomas Kincaid for my office. I'm gonna bring it back.
You can order them online, but they're limited too. Thomas Kincaid's like he's a very popular artist. He's very famous with his colors of shades and stuff like that. His coloring, and it's amazing. He does a lot of Disney stuff. He died. They just revamp his stuff into stuff like that.
It's cool stuff. It's really cool, like portraits of like, especially like the Magical Kingdom and
Very
all that
expensive.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one for my house. Inshallah.
They're nice.
Okay, so let's
Off
go on
topic, yeah.
off topic. So, question for you. So, when you said you grew up with the scarf, right? Islam.
Right.
When you were what age did you get into music like heavily?
When I was a band kid.
What instrument?
I played trumpet.
You played the trumpet?
Yeah.
Did it ever like hurt your cheeks
No.
from like blowing too hard? I feel like it would hurt, man. Like every time I try to
No.
blow a
Get used to
balloon, I
it.
die, man.
No, you get used to it, and like it's just. Anyways, so yeah, I played trumpet in band when I was in 5th grade, and then when I was in 8th grade, like 13, I got like super into poetry and like writing lyrics and stuff. So when I was 14, I learned my first 2 chords on guitar, and I wrote my first song.
So while you were going through that transition, did you ever think, man, this is 2 different paths and I'm trying to collide them?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's hard because like, they're not really like they do not fall hand in hand.
They do
You
not.
think
They're
about
complete
it,
opposites.
Yeah, but at the same time, like if you look at, the kind of music I make, that's like what, like whenever people tell me music is haram, I'm like, okay, but like if my intention is good with the music that I'm making, it's like there's no way. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, like Sayyid Jawad Kazwini had a lecture during Ashura, and he's like, not all music's haram, but the one you guys are listening to is haram. Like the majority of it, you know what I mean? Like I think it said like 80, like 98, 95% of music
Like,
in today's thing is about sex, alcohol, drugs,
exactly
all that garbage. But you're saying
like,
you're part of that 5%.
Yeah, because I'm writing about my experience with mental health. I'm writing about, you know, I have a song unreleased, but it's literally about like, just hold on a little longer, like just like live longer, you know? So I don't know. I feel like the kind of music that I make, it's not like I'm doing anything haram in any way. So
Right.
I feel like it's like harder to argue if you actually listen to my music and you're like, oh, she's like talking about mental health, you know? So it's just like different.
Promoting good, yeah, because I'm just trying to get the people that are going to brush you off instantly to understand where you're coming from. Like I always say, like
as another guest called it, the haram police.
The haram police, yeah.
Oh, they come at me all the time.
They come attack you, huh?
Yeah, on TikTok
the
especially.
haram police. It's so funny. I actually never heard that term till like.
Oh, it's always, there's a Muslim page, right? And there's people always on it.
Really?
Yeah, because they see all the good, and then they see this one dot of bad, and they constantly emphasize on the bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People are going to see her, and they're going to instantly brush her off. Something's wrong with her. This is that. And they're not going to sit down and understand. This is why we had the podcast, for you to understand where she's coming from.
Exactly, and that's actually what I talked about on the TV show. I was like, you know, music to me is empathy, and Islam means peace. And so, like, to me, they actually kind of do fall hand in hand if used correctly, you know?
Yeah, for sure. How was that process with that show?
Oh, it was so sick. It was, like, it was amazing. They paid for me to be there for 3 months for filming. Yeah, I know. It was so lit.
Chilling.
And it was in the summer, too, so it was perfect because I'm still in school, so it was really fun.
So does they pay you for being on the show, or they just covered your amenities?
No, they paid for me to be on the show.
No shit.
Yeah.
Was it like good money?
Yeah, it was actually.
Awesome.
I know. It was
Try
so
out next
lit.
year. Keep going.
Yeah, keep it up. Keep it up.
It was fun.
No, it's definitely, I can't imagine. Like, okay, when you get backlash in Dearborn, like, you're just getting attacked by local boaters and stuff like that. But when you're on a big scale like that, I can't imagine the feedback you're getting.
It was so funny because, like, you know, before I got on the show, it was a lot of, like, you know, that's haram, stuff like that. And then after I made it on the show, they're like, oh, she's a Hollywood girl. And, like, you know what I mean? So it just changes, like, people's perspectives. When you become, like, more successful, they're like, oh, well, she's going to do it anyways, you know? So.
And people always try to, like, every time
Don't get me wrong, I still get the hate, but, like.
No, honestly, I always wanted to do this, all right? 971, Mike Valeni.
Yeah.
He used to, I don't know if he does it anymore. He has a segment once a week where he just reads the most negative comments, like sent messages in, and they just start dying at him, right? Mm-hmm. And honestly, I thought our City of Dearborn post was going to get a lot of backlash, so I was planning on getting them all up and just me and Hawili just like literally laughing about it,
funny.
Right? You should do that.
You know, it's funny. I actually haven't explored the page in a minute. I want to see
we haven't got any new ones.
Nothing,
They delete them. Well, 2 people messaged me, they're like, bro, I wrote a comment that was funny, and they deleted them.
Really?
I think they control it now. Even though City of Dearborn is pretty savage, they post something and they know it's going to start controversy, they keep the comments there. But yet they want to limit the funny comments. Like some girls like, man, this post made me sick. And I commented, I'm like, inshallah, you feel better. And they deleted it. And someone's like, it's just like, but I always thought you should like get all the negative comments and just have just read it, have fun.
And like, you know, I'll like laugh about it with my friends and stuff. But like, I just don't like to give them that much attention, you know, because then like they'll keep going. Yeah,
but think about it. Someone's bitter mind is typing at you, right? And if you come back at them with like that type of mentality where you're laughing at them in a way, but exactly time you're looking at them and you're laughing about it and everything, they're still gonna be miserable.
Yeah.
They might have a laugh.
I get a lot of like, you know, if you're struggling with your mental health, then why are you making music and not reading the Quran? And it's like, how do you know I'm not doing both? You know, so.
Yeah, how do you do that? Like, how do you, like, example, like, so people always ask that, like, how are you balancing both?
Right.
How are you reading something that tells you not to do this, but you do it? Example, yeah, so go ahead.
I mean, it's different. Like I said, it's just the way that you use them. You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing something good with good intention, then I just don't understand how people are still like, oh, that's haram, you know? So.
Going back to people that sit there and point their finger at someone.
Exactly. Judging is haram more than my music.
Yeah. They're not like, exactly. So like they're coming at her from like, they're perfect humans. They're telling you, hey, don't do that. But they're probably going home doing something way worse.
Oh, I've gotten such kind messages too that are like, like, my beloved sister, like, you're going down the wrong path. You know?
Oh my God, the amount of times I've seen messages like that.
Yeah.
I had one time. I was doing a case that got a guy dismissed for like it was a mix of like a mix of like sexual assault with like drug possession.
Right.
And it was back when I was working with my old firm, and we put it on our Instagram at the time for that page. And I had somebody message me on my, hey brother, I don't know who this is. Mind you, this is a person that just saw the post because we blew it up to get exposure. Mm-hmm. So he messaged the the DM for the firm I was at, and he was like, hey brother, just want to let you know I'm proud of your work, but how dare you, being a Muslim man, defend somebody who could be so evil, have so much evil in their heart. God is gonna punish you for allowing this person like essentially to see the light of day.
We talk about it in the next episode.
Yeah, they're pretty much saying, hey, like, how are you a Muslim and you're defending such a shitbag? That's what they're saying. However, little do they know, like, the backstory.
Right.
This person actually never committed this crime, and I was able to prove that. You know, it just goes to show how fast people pass judgment.
No, it's
and
so
even
true.
if the person committed the crime, what the fuck is it to you?
Literally,
it's literally my job. Like, it's just like it's what I do to like.
That's the difference. Is it's your job? You know what I mean?
It's even like, how many people ask me that question? I'll say, hey, like, would you ever defend a murderer? Would you ever defend a rapist? Yeah, I have done both, and I don't have an issue with it. Mm-hmm. I just don't care. It's my job. This is what I get paid to do. I enjoy the job a lot. Yeah. It's really exciting work. Sometimes the people you represent are not guilty of these crimes. Right. And even if they are guilty, they're guilty to an extent that's not pushed, by the narrative. It's to a far less extent, and people have an issue with it. They have an issue with this criminal defense stuff. They always ties it to, being a Muslim, it's haram, to do these kind of cases. Well, all right, like, I don't know what listen, man, you're not God. I'll deal with it later. All right, listen, I'm sure if it is haram, at some point I'm gonna have to answer for it, and I'll be prepared for it. Right. Thank you for your input. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't like that. People just can't mind their business, really.
No, that's exactly what it is too. Is like, so I grew up with a single mom. I know both of you did too. Mm-hmm. And I get a lot of like, why don't you talk to your biological dad and like stuff like that, and I'm like, that's none of your business. And they'll like try to push it at you because they think it'll bring them, like, I forgot the word, but like it'll bring you closer to your faith if you like connect your family or connect a family together again.
Yeah.
And I get that a lot. So
that's a whole different subject.
It is a whole different subject.
I don't want to touch on that. The communication aspect of the boater parent with their kid is just not there.
Bro,
it's not there.
Listen, I'm telling you this just because, like I said, we do divorce law as well. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you just from personal experience as well as from legal experience, some parents are better split apart. It's just better for the 100%. Kids, better for everybody else. It's just how it is, Mm-hmm. And them being together it's not gonna help anybody. It's the sad truth, but like the truth, nonetheless, it's the truth. Yeah. People just have an issue understanding that, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I'm lucky. I have like a really supportive family,
Yeah.
And my stepdad Ed is pretty awesome. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Everything's blending. No, it's good. It seems like you have a good support. Because if you didn't, you'd I don't know how you would have been this far.
Struggling a lot.
Yeah, worse, I mean, you know, somebody, you told me you came history of mental health issues, depression, type 2 bipolar disorder.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot you've been through. Obviously, it's very hard, to overcome these things without a good support system. Yeah, 100%.
No, you have to, bro. It's just like, if you don't, imagine going home and just getting torched 24/7.
And not even just that. Imagine, okay, even worse. I mean, there are people that go through the same thing Israa went through, and it's currently probably. I'm assuming you're still dealing with this every day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm definitely more like hopeful about the future than I've ever been, but like I think it's a constant struggle. So
absolutely. There are families that know, these, their children, their cousins, they're dealing with this stuff, and like they're not making it easier on them. It's probably not their intention. They're not trying to purposefully, rock the boat, but it's
with the like comments like, oh, it's all in your head. Like, no, it literally is. No.
That's a topic for like a psychiatrist or someone to come on here.
I mean,
My
well,
stepdad's a psychiatrist.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, but he works in he worked in addiction. Now he works as forensic psychiatrist.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he does forensic psychiatrist?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he works at the Center for Forensic Psychiatry.
Dope. That's a badass job.
Yeah, it
That's
really
a cool
is.
job.
It really is.
That's a job that probably gets judged a lot too.
Oh yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's definitely, yeah. We were talking about it last time we recorded, because you didn't bring it up today. Like, I was talking about, the last person said it's not okay to be, it's okay to not be okay, right? Seeing a therapist. Do you think seeing a therapist is,
Yeah, well,
I think everybody
exactly.
needs to be in therapy. I think it's just healthy. You know what I mean? Like, there's a huge stigma around it, but at the same time, I think, I don't know, it helps you in every way. Like, it just helps you clear your mind. It helps you gain perspective. Therapy helped me literally, like, figure out, like, new coping mechanisms and stuff like that. So
that's awesome.
all right. I think we dove into a lot of topics, a lot
Yeah,
of
we did.
people that hopefully seen Israa and misjudged her in any way.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, Israa is a true liberal, as she admitted, and we're able to have a genuine, normal conversation without anybody wanting to kill each other. So trust me, have her be the example to the people that are scared to come on here because of their views. If they might be too liberal, too conservative, we accept everybody.
People always comment. People
Yeah.
always sending us DMs like, "Oh, you guys should do this. You guys should bring on that." And we straight up told them, "Are you want to come
Yeah,
on?"
dude,
They'd be like,
you know-
"Oh, no, I can't.
Yeah,
no,
do you know-
I can't."
Yeah.
I swear to God, listen, it's like we touched on the LGBT, many sensitive topics.
Right.
We've had guests before. We've touched on abortion. We've touched on same-sex marriage. We've touched on a lot of different topics, and people would always tell us, "Oh, well, how are three men having a conversation on abortion and there isn't a woman there?"
I kind of agree with
I
that.
agree. No, that's my point. This is my point.
Oh, what
I
happened?
agree with that 100%. No, I'm telling you. Do you remember the person that slid into our DMs and bitched at us for talking about abortion? There were three men, and there wasn't a girl to talk about the abortion. What was that specific person?
Then we
responded
asked a
to
bunch
them.
of girls
We're
and they
like,
didn't wanna
we
come
told them, we're like, yo, just to make something clear, we are not we're not saying we are better at talking about abortion than a woman. No. We're advocating for a woman to come on and challenge us. Like we want to talk to a woman about it.
Right.
Not even challenge. We're just talking about it.
Every single person that has that literally messaged us saying, "Oh, hey, why don't we bring a, you guys shouldn't be, three men shouldn't be talking about a woman's reproductive system." Fine. Do you want to come on and talk to us about it? We'd love to have you. No. You see what I'm saying?
People don't want to
it's
come on.
complicated.
Yeah, people don't want to come on. Maybe because they're scared of their, having
You
their
probably
opinion.
know some outspoken liberals.
Yeah.
that are willing to come on.
Yeah.
I bet.
Please. No, we want to hear. Listen, there's a lot of people that come on our podcast that are not scared to voice their opinions.
Right.
Unfortunately, they've all have the opinion that we've heard before. We need somebody that has, that voice the opinion that not a lot of people agree with, because these are the important topics.
Right. Yeah.
If somebody comes on here and says, "Yeah, I am pro-choice," in a city that is, I'm sorry, if somebody comes on here and says, that I am pro-life,
I'm pro-choice, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Saying I want somebody to come on here and say that they're pro-choice, knowing that they're gonna get a lot of kickback from a lot of people in the community that are pro-life.
Right.
And the amount of times we've tried to have women come on here and really have the conversation, they don't want to do it. I mean, I'm not saying all of them, but it's the people that have reached out to us, nagging.
They don't want to
saying
do
that
it.
They don't want to do it
the people
themselves.
that want to go against it, like the brilliant Ahmed Harajli, he's such a huge advocate against. He's willing to come do it. If we had an anti-Harajli,
Yeah.
a liberal
it'd be
that
brilliant.
as outspoken as Harajli is, that'd be a fantastic episode.
It would
Me,
be.
No, you know Ahmed
no,
Harajli
actually,
is?
I'm like civil though.
Yeah,
No,
you're
no,
more like
he's not-
Harajli's very
Like, I'm chill.
outspoken.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna force my views at somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that 100%. So yeah, I mean, but great conversations. But yeah, so the people watching this, trust me, I wouldn't want three guys on here to talk about a woman's reproductive system. I want a woman on here to talk about the reproductive system and talk about abortion, all this shit. But I to this day, if you guys know anybody, more than welcome. But yeah, just want to put that out there.
For the people that had no idea who Israa music is, now you do. For the people that knew Israa music or Israa Darwish and judged her for any reason and saying whatever she's doing is haram or halal, now you get a better understanding on why she's doing it, guys. Any last words?
Yeah, I just say if you're struggling with your mental health, don't be afraid to seek help. Even if it's just literally like talking to a friend, going to therapy, even talking to your parents, as hard as it can be, just, do what you think is best for yourself. There's always hope. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep running.
Yes. Thank you, Israa, for coming on. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and spend it with a bunch of ugly people like us. For the third time.
Just also want to give one last shout out to Enhance Yard Care. They do mulch, any kind of yard work.
They do it all.
They're going to be bringing snow removal. Reach out to them on their Instagram at Enhance Yard Care. Phone number to contact them is 313-335-4511. You're going to see their logo in the description, as well as, you know, all the services they provide, as well as their email and their phone number. So reach out to them. Quick shout out on the merch. Infinity merch, I believe.
Infinity merch. Let's go back to Enhance Yard Care, guys. Well, there was my neighbor. It was like a zoo in his backyard. It was like a jungle.
Yeah.
I gave him Enhanced Yard Care's number. Came out clean within a couple hours.
Straight
wiped the whole thing clean. Made everything look beauul.
Can't beat it.
What do you want than that?
Can't beat it. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. You know, my brother's a clown, but I mean, he does a good yard work. Infinity merch. Go online, order your merchandise, hoodies, shirts, colors. They're all available. Sizes are available. They can get delivered to your house for a small fee. And we're working on bringing, you know, a more diverse set of clothing. So everything's in the works. Sponsorships as well. If you're interested, I'm actually in the process of bringing out a package deal for people, because we've had a lot of outcry for people saying, oh, well, I don't want to only sponsor one episode. I want to be like a month-to-month sponsor. I want to be on a contract. Well, the way we're doing it is it's going to be by an episode package. We're going to do a 5, an 8, and a 10 episode package to start, and then from there we can see how far we can take it. So I'll be releasing the details of that hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And for the people that did reach out to me regarding that package, you'll be getting it very soon. You'll be getting the pricing and exactly everything, you know, pretty much what's included with every package.
Regarding merch, if you don't want to pay that $10 in shipping, we deliver.
Yeah.
If you don't want to see our ugly faces deliver your package, then you go ahead and pay the Infinity merch, and then we'll go ahead and ship it to you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you didn't know Israa music, Israa Darwish, now you know her. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Use Advanced Yard Care, Enhanced Yard Care, and God bless. Take care.
Have a good night.
Stay classy.